Aristotle, lived from 384–322 BCE, was one of the most prominent figures in ancient Greek philosophy, as well as a scientist and educator. Along with his teacher Plato and Plato's mentor Socrates, Aristotle helped lay the foundations of Western philosophy. Born in the town of Stagira in Macedonia, Aristotle came from a family of physicians, which exposed him to the scientific study of nature from an early age. At the age of 17, Aristotle traveled to Athens and enrolled in Plato's academy, where he studied for 20 years. Though deeply influenced by Plato, Aristotle developed his own distinct philosophical approach, particularly disagreeing with Plato on metaphysics. While Plato emphasized the existence of an ideal world of forms, Aristotle focused more on empirical observation of the material world and the relationships between things. In 343 BCE, Aristotle was invited by King Philip II of Macedon to tutor the young prince Alexander, who would later become known as Alexander the Great. Aristotle's teachings were wide-ranging, covering ethics, politics, science, and literature. Although Alexander would go on to conquer much of the known world, his education under Aristotle certainly left a lasting impact on his views of leadership and governance. After Alexander became king, Aristotle returned to Athens, where he established his own school, the Lyceum. This school became not only a place of philosophical discussion but also a center of scientific research. Aristotle and his students were known for their peripatetic discussions, walking while they talked, hence the name, Peripatetic School. During his time at the Lyceum, Aristotle produced numerous works, covering topics such as logic, metaphysics, ethics, politics, natural science, and poetics. His contributions to nearly every field of knowledge profoundly influenced later thinkers. Aristotle's contributions to science are especially noteworthy. He was one of the first scholars to systematically study and classify living organisms, laying the groundwork for biology. His idea of teleology, the concept that everything in nature has a purpose, shaped early scientific thought, influencing scholars well into the 17th century, even until Charles Darwin introduced the theory of evolution. In ethics and politics, Aristotle's contributions were equally significant. His Nicomachean Ethics explored the nature of virtue and happiness, asserting that true happiness comes from living a life of virtue, achieved through reason. One of his most famous quotes, "Virtue lies in the mean," reflects his belief in moderation. According to Aristotle, virtue is a balance between excess and deficiency, and finding this balance is the key to a well-lived life. In politics, Aristotle's work, Politics, outlined his vision of the ideal state. He analyzed different political systems, including monarchy, aristocracy, and democracy, concluding that a mixed system, combining elements of aristocracy and democracy, would offer the greatest stability and justice. His famous statement, "Man is by nature a social animal," delves into the essential nature of humans as beings who naturally form societies and political institutions, influencing political philosophy for centuries. Aristotle's influence continued far beyond his lifetime. While much of his work was neglected for centuries, it was reintroduced to Europe during the Middle Ages through translations from the Arabic world. His works formed the basis of scholasticism, where Christian theologians like Thomas Aquinas reconciled Aristotle's philosophy with Christian doctrine. During the Renaissance, Aristotle's ideas were rediscovered and studied intensively, playing a key role in the intellectual revival of Europe. Another famous maxim of Aristotle is, "All men by nature desire to know." This statement reflects Aristotle's emphasis on knowledge and the human drive for learning. He believed that the pursuit of knowledge is innate to human nature, and whether through observing the natural world or contemplating abstract concepts, it is a process by which humans achieve self-fulfillment. In his later years, Aristotle faced political turmoil in Athens. After the death of Alexander the Great, anti-Macedonian sentiments rose, and Aristotle was charged with impiety, a situation reminiscent of the trial of Socrates. To avoid suffering the same fate as Socrates, Aristotle chose exile. He left Athens and went to the island of Euboea, where he spent his final days. In summary, Aristotle's life was marked by a deep commitment to knowledge and education. He made significant contributions not only to philosophy but also laid the groundwork for modern science. His ideas have influenced countless philosophers, scientists, and political leaders, becoming a monumental figure in the history of Western thought and culture. Aristotle's maxims continue to inspire people to pursue knowledge and wisdom, exploring the meaning of life and the mysteries of the world.